My Jamaican Backyard Garden, Portmore edition. This is Gardening with Stacey. Come garden with me now, man.
And what a nice place to live. Sweet jam down.
Hello my gardening family, welcome back to another daily gardening with Stacey. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Okay, so today we're doing another throwback video. Today is about 5 things you must know before starting a garden. Now these are very simple, easy things that will show you that anyone can do gardening. It doesn't matter the scale. Alright, so like I mentioned in my video yesterday, what I am doing is answering questions that I get repeatedly by using videos that I use to cover much of the questions. Alright, so today is just the very same. I am responding in a more detailed way. So let's go to that video. Welcome to my channel. This is Gardening with Stacey. Choosing a gardening method is completely up to you. It involves many factors. By the end of this video, you will recognize which is better and more feasible for you. But whether you grow in containers, beds, or in ground, growing your own food is what is most important. Let's discuss this while I take care of business in my garden. I'll be doing a little sowing, a little transplanting, and some weeding. No, there are so many things to consider when you're choosing how to garden. Whichever method you choose, at the end of the day, you will be doing some things more or some things less. In other words, they all have their pros and their cons. If you live in an apartment, containers would definitely be for you. If you are renting and do not have the permission to grow in raised beds or in ground, you need to overwinter or simply need flexibility where you can rotate your plants from time to time, to either sunny or cooler areas in your yard. Then of course container gardening would definitely be best for you. If you have issues with your native soil and do not wish to use containers, if your space is paved, or if you have trouble bending too low, or merely just want to be able to have unlimited garden ideas, and not just that, also to do more companion planting, then raised beds may be just the one for you. Now, in-ground retains much more water, hence gardening with this method, you will water less. Containers and beds require much more watering because they dry out faster, and how quickly they do that, it depends on where you live. With the raised bed, I sometimes water only once a day. Majority of the days though, twice. With the containers, I had to water twice a day every day. If I miss one of my water schedule, then my plants went under stress. Comment below and tell me how often you water your plants. If you haven't started, still comment below and tell me how many times you think you may have to water. Thing is, with containers and raised beds, you better manage your soil in terms of richness and so on. In-ground can be more prone to a lot of pests and weeding. Based on the few major factors we talked about today, we can safely say that they all have their perks. What you choose is all up to you and your resources. There's no wrong or right way. Comment below and tell me which one works better for you or which one would work better for you. For me, in-ground is a total no-no because where I live, the native soil is very poor. And besides, too many fertilizers would present themselves. Right there and then, I knew my decision would have to be containers or raised beds. You might ask why I didn't use raised beds instead of containers initially, but what I noticed is that the more I grew and harvest, the more I wanted to grow. And I did more researches on containers than I did raised bed. I just wanted to grow something, didn't realize how passionate it would become for me. And I was also thinking about the space that I have at the time. I started out with 6 1-gallon jugs. I cut them into halves. I remembered starting out with lettuce, sweet peppers, scotch bonnet peppers, and tomatoes. Then the rest was history. Just the other day, I gave up over 60 containers. So what do I recommend? Both of them is just fine. Choose based on your preferences and resources. Both has their advantages and disadvantages. Or you could just choose both. I personally move from containers to raised beds for these reasons. I love the look of this DIY garden raised bed. I get to do more companion planting. I feel more complete in terms of managing my plants. I have less encounters with 40 legs. They're usually hiding underneath my pots. And it turns out I water a little less. And so the soil doesn't deplete as quickly as when I had my containers. This particular bed, the size, the look, everything overall just give me a good feeling. In a nutshell, when deciding between a container and a raised bed, things you should consider, which are not limited to just these, are space, your location, plants you can grow, how much you want to grow, soil requirements, the sunlight requirements, watering requirements, flexibility in terms of plant rotation or crop rotation, if you may need to overwinter some things, weeds, pest and disease control requirements, and of course, how physically able are you to maintain a healthy garden. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Until next time, walk good. Alright, so there we go. If you have any questions, suggestion, recommendation, whatever it is, drop it in the comments. Alright, also if you have not yet seen yesterday's video, how to start a garden, please go ahead and check the description. I will link it right there. Thank you all so much for watching, and until tomorrow, walk good.
Come garden with me now, man.
And what a nice place to live. Sweet jam down.